Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Interesting guest we have today who has now made it his life's work of photography, but a little bit different. Video photography, but more specifically, drone video. So many different purposes, so useful in so many different areas. I didn't even realize all the ways that you can use drone video. And we're going to bring him in here. He is the guy behind Mile Fly Club Aerials. He's Tim Esty, and he joins us here in the program. Hey, Tim, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. I'm loving your work. All of this. I've seen
Thank
drone
you.
videos. I have some friends that mess around with it, but I've never realized how deep it can go and what you can do with a drone video. Do you do also photography in addition to the drone video?
Yeah, so I'm actually in real estate, like media. So I kind of went backwards. Usually, people start out with just digital camera and like real estate, and then they eventually get their Part 107, which is your drone operating license, and then they graduate to drones. I kind of went reverse because I was always interested in flying drones. I've been doing that for over 6 years now, but not full time. I've only been in business since December.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is it about the drones that you love working with?
So there's everything really. I joke that I'm actually afraid of heights, so I won't go like on a roof or up in the sky, I should say. But this can do it. This can do it pretty efficiently. So there's that. But where I live in Maine, like southern Maine, I'm about 15 minutes to the coast here. So like the picture in the background, for example, that's the Neville Lighthouse. That's like literally the pretty much the most popular one in Maine, and that's probably when I decided to do this. That probably just as every other drone photographer around in bid, at least, that's probably the first place I went. So yeah,
Huh.
yeah, it just getting the real estate, like there's a lot of it. Like the drone piece is just one aspect of it, but that was kind of for me like something like an easy, I say, like graduation, something to evolve into like real estate, because it just made too much sense around me.
When it comes to the real estate footage, of course, you have the aerial, you can lower shot, but depending on the house and the layout, can't you also go inside the house and kind of do a walkthrough with the drone?
I can, but I also do on the side videography. So I do some Airbnb like rentals as well. I'm expected to do more in the fall, because the fall is beautiful up here. So, but yes, you can. You can fly through the house, but like realtors, some won't want you to do that. But yes, I guess it depends on like the size of the house. Like I did a apartment building a little while ago, a couple apartments in it. They were only 900 square feet. That's why I also have, my gimbal. I can record it in other ways, because the drone is awesome, but it's only really like a piece of it.
And when you talk about a gimbal, I know what it is. Explain it for everybody else, how it
So
attaches to a camera.
yeah, gimbal. I actually have a 15 iPhone 15 Pro, and it attaches to that, so it's level, which is great. So, and then when you walk, it doesn't really show like any of that, motion blur or anything, or go up and down like non-steady, like just holding up a camera probably would. At least I know I would probably if I was just trying to walk with my camera. So it looks more professional too, but it's very efficient because when I record the video, it saves right to my phone, so I don't have to worry about like a faulty memory card or something like you would with the drone.
It's
So it's
almost
very helpful. Yeah,
if back in the day they used to call them steady cams. So it's
yeah, just like that.
it's got a gyro that it just kind of moves
Yeah,
along with you. So everything you shoot
yes,
is steady. If you move a little bit, it compensates for it. It's really cool. It really
it
is.
is. And it's just the crazy. So drones, luckily, the ones that I'm doing, they're professional drones now in 2024. I, of course, say I wish I started this business earlier, but if you think about it, like even 10 years ago, these drones weren't even around. So the same thing, the drones have the gimbal. So yeah, like real estate or anything, even the Nebel Lighthouse, when you fly around it, you're going to get that steady footage. You're not going to get up and down a lot. Even though around here, I've gone to the Nebel, like I said, like several times, but I have a larger drone because the smaller drones, anything over like 7 mile an hour wind, then it's pretty much useless. Or if I should say, even with the stabilization and everything, it still looks like it's moving. So
Wow.
sometimes you don't want to deal with the wind because 7 miles an hour around here, that's nothing. That's just a regular old Tuesday,
Yeah. What have you seen? I have to believe in shooting footage that stuff has come up. Like you may have been shooting something it's like, oh, I didn't know I got that through a drone. Anything that stands out for you?
So me, particularly, I haven't had those close account. Well, I have with like power lines. So I have a couple of drones, but one is like you put on like a headset. It's called first person view, so you can like see what the drone sees. But uh, when you're doing something like a parade and you got a million things going on, I didn't notice, but I've had several close calls with like power lines. But you watch like videos online and it shows like pretty much the drones being attacked more or less from like a goose or something. So
Wow.
I haven't had something like that, but when I go to the coast, there's of course, excuse me, a ton of seagulls. No one has like had interest to it, but a lot of people on their drones they put like some like reflection tape they to try to get them to not do. The one thing about one of my drones is the DJI Avata. That's the one I do that first person view for. It's very loud, so I think the reason why I haven't had any close calls with birds is because it's very loud, and that I'm sure that deters them.
Hmm. Yeah, I never even thought of bird strikes. You know,
Yeah, but it's crazy about like a power line when you're doing something like a holiday parade and there's obviously a ton of people below you. I mean, when I saw the feedback, like your heart sinks, of course, and your stomach turns. But I was like, wow, it was like an inch between the power line, and if that hits the power line, then it's going to fall. I believe it would have fell on Santa. That would not be a
hmm,
good day for anybody.
right.
So,
So can you take us through some footage?
yeah, sure, I can. Absolutely, I can take you through some
Oh,
footage. Give me
beautiful.
a second. So,
Sure.
yeah, let me make my screen a little bigger. So this is the Walls Harbor. I love that around me. I have a 3-year-old, and I call that like a playground for her because it is, but it's also kind of a playground for me because this is where I go to test anything.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, this was around Christmas. So just some of the stuff that I've done. This was more like in December. December is probably the biggest month because I, we love Christmas up here. So everything uh anything that I can get myself like behind like with Christmas lights is gonna look amazing. So I have that, and this is the Old Orchard Beach. That's another very popular beach around here. I'll actually be
Hmm.
at the playground next week. And I mean, around here, this is actually my wife's cousin's. Oh, there's the Nebel Lighthouse. My wife cousin has a farm down in Pennsylvania, so I went down there, and yeah, there's a lot. So literally, how I started out, like getting those Christmas lights and everything in December, I with having a 3-year-old like this, for example, there's so many events with kids, kid friendly. So I literally just took my drone with me like every time we got in the car. And then there's so like where I live, there's so many things that are, picture worthy. It was very easy. And then also having that Part 107 a drone license, which is the first thing. Okay, I'll stop that. Unless there's Is there anything else you want to say?
While we're looking at different things, how about some real estate? I know that's one of the
Okay.
main things you do.
Yep. So here I can show you this one. So this was actually up by Bangor, and I don't really know how the audio is going to play out, but I did this one at a little yeah,
Wow, nice.
so I'm a fan of short and sweet, so I don't really have anything that's like too long, but that's usually what I ended up, doing some just the short little like promotional video or something like that. And it's pretty effective. Up here, I probably have about five more at this time going on, but a lot of them are in the fall, which is interesting. So in the fall, right after Labor Day, my 3-year-old, who'll be 4, she goes to preschool, but also, well, she started soccer too, but that's not, that's just a Saturday. So, but we're having our second one September 10th. So I go to my wife, I'm like, because if it was a year ago, I still would have been working on my corporate job, but now, like for her, our little one Emma, she goes to preschool. She will be going 5 days a week in the morning. So, and it's about a 25-minute drive for us each way to a preschool. So, I just told my wife, I said, I'm glad I'm doing this full time now. So I'll have time to do that kind of stuff because, real estate, a shoot, it's usually, in the afternoon. So that usually works out pretty well for me.
Hmm. Have you ever had a drone mishap? I'll be honest, I've thought about getting a drone, probably not at the level of the ones that you're using, but just for fun, because I started in radio doing video. So
Yeah.
back when I was in high school, and it's always been in me. So I've thought about
Mhm.
getting a drone, but then part of me is like, well, it's a big investment, and what if something happens?
So, it depends on which drone it is. The drone I did that other house before, that's called the DJI Mini 4 Pro. That's actually they call it a fly more kit where you get the extra batteries and everything. That's maybe, I don't know, $1,200. It's not like and that's going to get you a 4K, camera, shooting video. I like this one, well, for many reasons, but one, you can do horizontal, the traditional, footage, or you can flip it to vertical for
Well,
like a social media reel kind of thing.
sure.
But yeah, that I use kind of quite a bit. I actually, yeah, well, one was on me, but I guess I had a flyaway, like a mishap in the ocean once, on myself, not on purpose, of course, but another one. DJI had the insurance. They said it was like a malfunction, but yeah, technically two of them. But that's the thing. Like I'm
Oh,
so close to the ocean, I'm not gonna just you're not gonna just stop because of that. But yeah, no, I don't. My Mavic is like a almost $3,000 drone. That's probably the most expensive one. I don't have like one of those 10,000, They have drones now that do like thermal imaging for like roofing, and yeah, I mean that's crazy. I don't have anything $10,000 or $100,000 even.
you don't need
Nothing
it.
that expensive.
It,
Yeah,
it that
no, you don't.
the quality and uh the control over it is so amazing. So DJI, I was looking at the 4. I know that there's a Pro, but you can get
Yes,
the
that's the one I have.
the standard 4 is like maybe 800 bucks ish, if remember correctly. Doesn't have all the accessories with it.
Right, it doesn't. So the Pro is going to give you a slight edge. I mean, they're all going to, just like a cell phone, they're all going to have pretty decent cameras. But some of the things, about the Pro, just like with I have my Mavic 3 Pro. You're going to get a little bit better of a camera probably if you went with the Pro. So like they're all going to take 4K resolution. You know, you're going to be pretty happy with that. But also, the nice thing about the Mini 4 Pro is that it's 249 grams, which means if you just want to go to the Neville Lighthouse, let's say, for example, you don't need to get your drone license like I had to do, where you have to, it's a little investment both with time, and then it obviously costs money to take the exam. And at the exam, you got to go on like a FAA facilitated, like it's like a whole thing where they got to put on headphones because it's at an active airport. Luckily for me, I only have to go 20 minutes to Sanford to find a location, but you got to study for exam. And I studied for about a month.
Wow. To get the
Yeah.
certification?
Yeah. Because once you get it, you're good. Like to do anything commercially, like even like the Neville Lighthouse, for example, even if you're selling like a calendar of different pictures, you're supposed to. You know, the issue is like up here, we don't have a lot of restricted airports, and the FAA isn't a real thing. If you can get, well, not that it's not real, it's just we don't see it, that much. But if you don't have your Part 107 and you're doing something commercially, let's say, even if it's not actually money, but you're going to be putting it on your website or something, you can get like slapped with like a $27,000 fine.
Wow.
That the odds of that where I live though is probably, pretty slim, but I wanted to, do at least that part by the book, study and get that. And then, let's get a drone. I kind of went the other way with that, but is important. There was a lot of studying, and it's kind of like, well, not your driver's ed, not that you wouldn't know everything because a lot of it you're going to remember, but a lot of this FAA stuff with restricted airspace, those are the larger airports like Fort Worth, Texas, like Dallas or Philadelphia. I don't really have to deal with that, but for the exam, you still have to know it. But so I had to do it. So, anyways, the nice thing about that drone is because it's smaller, it's under their weight capacity. You could pick one up at Best Buy literally right after this if you wanted to, and if you were by I don't know Poconos, let's say, or something like that, you could just take it out, providing the battery is of course charged, or else it will fall
Sure.
from the sky. You don't want that. You could just go shoot whatever you want pretty much, and is like there's a recreational, it's called a trust, that you can get, which you should, because it only takes you like 10 minutes to study for it. But uh you can pretty much do that. It's the other stuff, like if you wanted to get in the real estate, if you wanted to sell any drone footage, or if you wanted to do even like I said, sell a calendar, you'd have to legally get your Part 107. But the issue that I had when I started out, I just got used to it because that's how it is. There's a lot of people, especially around here, because it's so close to the coast and everything. There's a lot of people that have drones and take pictures and even sell calendars and stuff like that that aren't necessarily Part 107, but only the FAA is supposed to ask you. So when someone posts like I'm from New Hampshire, which is not that far away, but do you know where the White Mountains are? Have you ever heard of them?
I've heard of them. Don't know where they are though.
Okay. So it's a national like preserved area in New Hampshire, which you can't even, kind of like Arcadia National Park, if you've heard of that, in Maine.
Sure.
Up any of those national parks, you can't like fly, like you can't legally fly a drone in. But if you're Part 107, you would know that because you have to study it and learn about that stuff. But every once in a while, you see someone on Facebook posting in the fall, because the foliage is beautiful.
Sure.
They're posting photos of, the White Mountains, and then other people like, yeah, you're not supposed to be doing that. Just to
Wow.
let you know. if they catch you, I mean, and that's the worst thing to do, really, because at least if you do something like that where you're not supposed to, don't post it online. Don't
Mm.
make it pretty obvious. Like if anyone was looking at it and wanted to catch you, make an example of you, whatever, that's the easiest way to do it.
Isn't it true that if you're in a no-fly zone, like let's say near an airport or whatever, the drone won't even fly. It's already locks out.
Uh, so yeah, yes, I learned about that the hard way. I live the nearest city, if you want to call it a city. It might, it's not New York City or anything. Would be Portland, Maine, and I was actually in one of those videos. There was a steam train, so we took our 3-year-old up on a steam engine train. It's supposed to be like the Polar Express, the whole thing. It was pretty cute and everything. But anyways, I took some footage of that train because it was awesome.
Sure.
So, but I had to get to clearance, and in Portland, you can only fly up to 100 feet, which typical unrestricted airspace you can fly in 400. Sorry, these AirPods are like falling out. You can go up to 400, but there it's only at 100 feet, and which is plenty, of course, usually. But I went up to about 99 feet, and then all of a sudden my drone is like hovering in place, and you can move the joysticks as much as you want, but it won't move. And
Mm.
then I get these big red like alerts and beeps and everything on my controller that says restricted airspace, restricted airspace, land immediately, stuff like that. So yes, it can be like that. I did not know about it at the time because that was December. That's when I started
Uh,
this, but it can. So I do some stuff in Portland, and I actually did a property in Portland last week. I was still a little, nervous about it, but I only went to about 85 feet in the air. It was fine. I had the clearance and everything to do it, so it was fine. But I am not getting even close to 100 feet because you never know. And
right.
that's in Portland, so I can only imagine being like in Boston or something. Like where I live, when I go to like the Nebel Lighthouse, for example, that there's a lot of popular lighthouses in Maine, but there are some of them like the Portland Headlight that are in that restricted airspace. So I don't even deal with it. Other people do, but I don't even want to fly it because I want, it's enjoyable. That's obviously the reason why you get into this. The Nebel Lighthouse is enjoyable unless at the one of the first times I went there, I almost hit a power line, but luckily by the ocean, you don't really have to deal with trees and all this stuff. And a lot of these drones, as long as you get a good drone like that, Mini 4 would be, they have a lot of sensors now. So like if
Mm.
there's an obstacle near you, that's pretty good. But a power line, even though it's black, when you're going at like 30 miles an hour, for example, you it looks like just like a line with a pencil. You barely see it until it's pretty much there, and when it gets that close on your screen, it's just a reaction. So luckily, I was able to go in between the two of them.
Oof.
But if it
And
has to
that,
be, it
and
has to be like a reflex.
that's the reason why I don't have a drone. Because I'm not that good. I don't play video games either. Uh, Tim, great talking with you. Lots of insight. We're just about out of time. Where will you travel to do video if somebody needs some work done?
So it depends what it is. So I do 50-mile radius from South Berwick, Maine, where I live, and I don't have any like travel fees or anything like that. But it depends. So like if it's an Airbnb in the fall, and we have a like talk track and a plan, I will probably go 2 to 3 hours, no problem. But it's all case by case basis. Like they're never. I know a lot of people won't. Like I would never say I wouldn't ever go to New York State. Let's say, for example, if it's a pretty decent offer and everything, and because as a business owner, I already get like 65 cents a mile, so you're already getting paid pretty much good. Pretty
Sure.
handsomely, I would say. So I would do it. There's no, job too short or too small, really. I would say, depending on what it is, it's most drone stuff only takes like maybe an hour because it's very efficient, So most cases it's 50 miles, but if it's something Airbnb or something in the fall, it's beautiful around here. Whatever it happens, I'm also a fan of opportunity. So it could lead to something else, so
Sure.
you never really say no.
Well, it really depends on the job. And the first step
Yeah.
is somebody to find you. What's your website, Tim?
So I tried when I started this, it was a plan worth. So mileflyclubaerials.com is my website.
Gotcha. Love your work. So much more to talk about, other projects next time we get together. And thanks for all
Yeah,
the deep details. Super cool.
of course.
And nothing shows it better than a drone when you're looking at something, either real estate or even event or anything like that.
I believe, yeah, those unique views, I
Sure.
think.
Thank you so much for being here today, Tim. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.